Hello to the online folks. We'll get started in just a minute here.
Thank
You can sit wherever you want to.
Wow, look at that is
All right, let's just go ahead and start. Welcome everybody to the Wednesday night loving kindness meditation. My name is Alex. I am happy to be here with you this evening to share in this wonderful practice that just seems to calm me down. You know, this weather has snuck up on me. When it was first raining, you know, like everybody in Southern California was like, yep, we need the rain, so that's good. But now it's just been raining for so long and I'm like, oh God, it's too much. And also hello to everybody online. Hope you're well. Hey, Brian and Linda, good to see you again. Or I don't see you, but you know. So this class on loving kindness, or this meditation on loving kindness, which we're going to do in just a little bit, we kind of have to first talk a little bit about this word loving kindness. But before we do that, is there anyone who's this is their first time to the Wednesday class? Nice, welcome. Anybody that's their first time to the temple, period? Oh my goodness. How did you hear about us?
Online.
Online? YouTube? Oh, you guys? Online? And from him too, yeah, nice. Nice. Well, welcome to everybody. You as well? Or you have a friend drag you?
First time to Wednesday.
Oh, first time to Wednesday. Okay, nice. Well, happy to have you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. It's just interesting to me to figure out, or to understand how they find out about us. It's pretty unanimous. It's kind of like half and half these days. It's like half online and half like a friend told them about it, or somebody brought a new person with them, and it's always wonderful to see the kind of word of mouth. So this word that we're talking about when we hear loving kindness, the word we're talking about is metta, M-E-T-T-A. And this word metta is from the ancient Pali language, which is kind of like a dialect of Sanskrit. It's a liturgical language that came about in, I don't know, 2nd or 3rd century CE. And it's pretty close to what the historical Buddha spoke. The historical Buddha Shakyamuni Gautama, Siddhartha Gautama, he spoke what's called the Magadhan language, which was one of the kingdoms of India at the time. And we think this is pretty close to that. We're not super sure. I mean, they didn't keep great records back then. Well, no one did. But we think it's pretty close. Anyway, when this word metta gets translated into English 2,500 years later, it could mean a lot of things. It could mean loving kindness, unconditional friendliness, goodwill. Goodwill is a really good one. Inoffensiveness, concord, amity, all these wonderful words. And really, it's just a wish to be happy, a wish for ourselves and others to be happy, and just as important, a wish for ourselves and others to do the things that cause happiness, right? The motto of the Dharma Bum Temple is think good thoughts, speak good words, do good deeds. These are things that bring happiness. These are things that not only bring happiness, but they generate a lot of wisdom in us. and they help us to understand just the basics of karma. In that positive actions lead to positive mind states, and negative actions lead to negative mind states. That's just the basics. And so all these things that create happiness, this loving kindness, these acts of loving kindness, these all create happiness. And so this is what we want for ourselves. This is what we want for other people. I was going somewhere with that. Good grief. But I tend to do that a lot. But we want that for ourselves. We want that to other people. Oh, I know where I was going, of course. But and the important thing about these acts of loving kindness is that because they're completely harmless to anybody, and they are very, very unselfish. And so you can do this practice for even your enemy, someone you absolutely hate. You can wish them goodwill, because you're wishing them happiness, and you're wishing them, more importantly, you're wishing them that they do the things that cause happiness. And if the things that cause happiness do not harm anybody, and the things that you do to cause happiness do not harm anybody, your loving kindness will never get in the way of your enemy's loving kindness. They will never be in conflict. Right? So this is a very unselfish practice as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to have this loving kindness meditation, and in a second I'm going to kind of go over kind of what we're going to do, so you're not surprised. We kind of do it in a little bit of a different way. What we're going to do first is we're going to kind of just get connected to the breath, and then afterwards we're going to do this practice of loving kindness for our benefactor. And a benefactor is anyone who has shown us great love or great kindness. We generally try to stay away from romantic partners, although if you want to, of course you can do it. But we're talking like mother, father, brother, sister, best friend, someone you see on TV that you really like. It doesn't matter, right? It could be one benefactor, it could be multiple benefactors, they could be living, they could be not living. None of those, it doesn't matter. There's really just a lot of flexibility here. And if you can't think of anybody, you can just think of a kind act that somebody did for you. Right? Then once we do that, loving kindness for a benefactor, then we're going to imagine our benefactor doing this practice for us. Right? And so we already have the experience of their love and kindness, our benefactor's love and kindness. So we're just going to call that to mind, imagining him doing this practice for us, and just letting all that loving kindness into our heart again. Right? If you feel any tension or tightness, you can just breathe into that and breathe out, and just kind of, give it some expansion, giving that tightness and tension, time just kind of to ruminate in a wider space. Maybe it dissipates, maybe it doesn't matter. Right? And then we're going to do loving kindness for ourselves, which we normally do it first. That's normally how it's taught, but we're going to do it third. And then we're going to do loving kindness for all beings in all directions. So before we start, I would actually like to read this. This is the Metta Sutta, or the Metta Sutra. These are the Buddha's words from 2,500 years ago. And this is the main teaching on the Buddha's teaching on loving kindness that I'd like to read to you. It says, "This is what should be done by one who is skilled in goodness and who knows the path of peace. Let them be able and upright, straightforward and gentle in speech, humble and not conceited, contented and easily satisfied, unburdened with duties and frugal in their ways, peaceful and calm and wise and skillful, not proud or demanding in nature. Let them not do the slightest thing that the wise would later reprove, wishing, in gladness and in safety, may all beings be at ease. Whatever beings there may be, whether they are weak or strong, omitting none, the great or the mighty, medium, short, or small, the seen and the unseen, those living near and far away, those born and to be born, may all beings be at ease. Let none deceive another or despise any being in any state. Let none through anger or ill will wish harm upon another. Even as a mother protects with her life her child, her only child, so with a boundless heart should one cherish all living beings, radiating kindness over the entire world, spreading upwards to the skies and downwards to the depths, outwards and unbounded, freed from hatred and ill will, whether standing or walking, seated or lying down, free from drowsiness, one should sustain this recollection. This is said to be the sublime abiding. By not holding to fixed views, the pure-hearted one, having clarity of vision, being freed from all sense desires, is not born again into this world. So, as it happens, with a lot of these, with some of these sutras and some of these teachings, at the end, the Buddha makes a really big promise, if we're able to do this, that you won't be born again into this world. You will attain, enlightenment, nirvana, unbinding, which is kind of that's the goal, the ultimate goal. Yeah, that's what we want. So that's how important this practice is. So we're going to do this, and we'll see how it goes. Any questions before we start? All right. So just allow your eyes to close, making sure you have that position that's nice and comfortable and sustainable for you, so you're not likely to move around too much. And when we sit like a Buddha. And you can even imagine yourselves as a Buddha sitting underneath your own tree of enlightenment, ready for the day's abiding. And since each Buddha has their own tree, you can make it any kind of tree you want. At first, we're just going to get kind of connected to the breath. So at first, let's just take a deep breath all the way in and all the way out. Not forcing it at first, letting it be quite easy and quite natural. And you can pay attention to your breath at the base of the nostrils, just feeling the air go in and out as you breathe. Or you can focus on the belly and the chest, feeling its expansion and contraction as you breathe. And so you always want to have about 25% of your attention on the breath. Even when we're doing this meditation on loving kindness, it keeps us grounded and connected to the present moment. And we use the breath because it's always with us. Whether we're out experiencing our day or sitting in meditation, it's always here, available to us, to center ourselves, to remove ourselves kind of from these thoughts that cause nothing but suffering. Just for the next few moments, let's just rest as gently as you can in the sensations of the breath. So to begin our practice of loving kindness, unconditional friendliness, and goodwill, we'll first start with our benefactor. Again, a benefactor is anyone who's shown us great love or kindness. Someone that's easy, it's close to your heart. It's easy to have these feelings for and do this practice for. And you can either just radiate loving kindness towards them, and however you understand that word radiate, or you can just repeat phrases of loving kindness for them, phrases like, may you be happy. May you be safe from inner and outer danger. May you be well in body and mind. May you be at peace and live at ease in this world. You could have as many benefactors as you want. So for the next few moments, we'll do this practice of loving kindness for our benefactor, wishing them happiness, wishing they do the things that cause happiness. And so shifting our focus just a little bit from doing this practice for our benefactor to now just imagining our benefactor doing this practice for us. We already have the experience of their loving kindness. Imagine them doing this, giving you loving kindness the same way you gave it to them, whether just by radiating loving kindness to you or just repeating phrases of loving kindness. If you want, you could put your hand over your heart. Smiling always helps, puts the mind in a good mood. Just recalling to mind their loving kindness for you, and let that into your heart again. Just receive all of it. So we'll do this part of the practice where we imagine our benefactor wishing us loving kindness. And we'll do it for the next few moments. So shifting our focus again to now, can we do this practice of loving kindness, unconditional friendliness, and goodwill for ourselves? Probably the most important part of the practice. You can either just imagine your heart getting bigger and warmer as you just radiate loving kindness towards yourself. Or you can just repeat these phrases of loving kindness for yourself. May I be happy. May I be safe from inner and outer danger. May I be well in body and mind. May I be at peace and without ease in this world. Everybody wants happiness for themselves. And it's okay to be happy, to want this for yourself. So we'll do this for the next few moments. And finally, we can explore the limitless potential of the heart to do this practice, to open the heart for all beings in all directions. Whatever living beings there may be, whether they are weak or strong, omitting none, the great or the mighty, medium, short or small, those living near and far away, the seen and the unseen, those born and to be born, may all beings be at ease. So we extend our heart as far as we can to include all beings in all directions. And we'll do this to end our meditation. Just open your eyes when you're ready. Just take the next couple of moments out in silence as you stretch your arms and you stretch your legs, keeping that mindfulness of loving kindness about you. And I'm going to ask you about your experience of loving this practice in a moment as well. Or if you have any questions, you can ask any questions you want to. It's fine. And for the online folks, hello, Jean. Good to see you again. Thank you. Okay. So that was our practice of loving kindness and kind of the way we do it here. It's pretty much always good for me. It has some people yelling in the background and, other stuff going on, but that's okay. It's not a problem. We have ways to deal with that so it doesn't upset us too much. And I think, kind of what I was saying earlier was true. I mean, the weather can be somewhat of a downer, and it kind of creeps up on me. For me, anyway, it kind of creeps up on me slowly. So all of a sudden, I'm just like, I don't feel good. Why is that? I mean, nothing necessarily is wrong. It's like, oh yeah, you don't really like this weather very much, do you? No. So, this meditation is always a good antidote for that. And of course, it works, so that's nice. Is there, I'm always interested in understanding what your experience of, this practice is, especially if maybe you haven't done it before or done it a lot before. Things that were easy or more difficult or surprising, or just your experience in general. If anyone would like to share, love to hear it. Yes, Jennifer. Hi.
Yeah, it's really helpful. I had like 3 incidences earlier where I just got really irritated and I could have responded in a negative way, but I didn't respond and I thought it was class and I just was filled with love instead of anger.
Yeah, that's
It's
nice.
really helpful over time.
Good. I'm glad. Yes.
I felt that it was a lot easier, and I'm really new to meditation, so I'm noticing everything. I felt like there was a lot more ease in sending this compassion and kindness to my direct benefactor, to myself, because those felt very intimate and already established.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we moved on to sort of all of mankind, I had this thought that just kept coming in where I was thinking like, may you have peace, may you, and this thought of like, but they don't. People are suffering. And like, almost like there was like a fence to my rippling that I felt really strongly, like just boom, pushing it back in my direction. Do you have sort of a thought or an approach for keeping your sort of meditative energy going in the face of maybe your brain's disagreement?
Yeah, absolutely. Wow, what a great question. So you're saying that when you're doing loving kindness for everybody, just thinking about all the people in the world, and saying that may you be happy, knowing that they're not happy, and understanding that all of the suffering and pain and conflict and strife in the world, that a lot of people aren't happy at all, and that's just kind of pushing back on you, pushing back on your wish for them. you know um, Absolutely. So there's a couple of things, especially since you said you're relatively new to meditation. A lot of times it's really good to start really small. Even though I said all beings in all directions, you can start really small. You can start with like everybody in this room. Like that's fine, right? You do everybody in this room. And then maybe you can do like everybody in this neighborhood, and just go out as far as you're comfortable going out. Because, yeah, all beings in all directions for somebody who's brand new, it's like, oh, what? It could seem, somewhat overwhelming, you know, uh, especially with what's going on in the world. So, start really small. Um, Two, I think another thing to kind of keep in mind is that loving kindness is only the first of of four heart practices that we have. But the foundation is loving kindness. The other are, compassion, uh, empathetic joy, and then equanimity. And equanimity is the one that ties it all together. It's the one that requires the most wisdom, because with equanimity, you understand that you can only help so many people, right? That you can't help everybody, that you're only one person and you can only do so much. And whatever that is has to be good enough. But even then, that doesn't stop you from wishing other people happiness, and knowing that they're suffering, you still wish them happiness. And it's like you eventually just won't get that pushback. You know? So that's just kind of another way just to kind of look at it. Because it is it's it's easy to get overwhelmed with loving kindness and compassion, and so many people get really burned out with that. Are you in a helping profession by any chance?
I don't know if it would be defined as such, but I mean, I try to help the people that I'm in contact with.
Okay, that's true. Okay, that's fine. Because a lot of people, like I remember this is years ago, I met this woman who was, a nurse, and she couldn't be a nurse anymore because she was trying to fix everybody and help everybody all the time, and it was just so overwhelming. She just couldn't do it, And so that's the thing that can happen when your compassion just says run amok. This kind of overwhelms the rest of the mind. You know, equanimity says, okay, I can do this much, and that will change over time, right? But I can only do this much, and I will do my best to do what I can, and that has to be good enough. And I will be happy because of that, knowing that I did my absolute best with what I could do. Or you can just, again, so that's another option other than just kind of starting really small. Customer service is also a helping position. Part of my job is customer service. So yeah, I can get that way too. Anyone else? Well, I need to let you go, and so you can get home again before it rains again. It was so good to see you. Wonderful to share this practice with you, and I really appreciate you being here. Especially with the weather and stuff. I didn't know who the heck was going to show up tonight, in person. So I'm really glad that people who came, and you got to kind of share in this practice and meditate with me. So thank you so much. So before we end, we have a couple of announcements that Travis is gonna talk about. For everyone on the phone, wonderful to see you. We'll see you next time. Bye, guys.
Hello, everyone. I'm tonight's host, Travis.